Hey everybody, welcome back. Leif Erikson Day for those that are Viking fans, which I am. I'm originally from Norway. I'm big into Viking history and culture and constantly trying to learn new stories and just educate myself on it. I know that the Viking culture and the history has taken a bit of a beating in the last, I don't know how many years. It's been a lot of the symbols, like I have my Mjolnir. I don't have it on because I work. When I work, I don't wear it. And for me, it's a sign of my culture and my history. But I know it's been taken over by certain groups of people that I don't agree with. Frankly, I don't agree with at all. My wife and I and two of my kids were up in northern Idaho several years ago on a road trip, and I have some tattoos that are kind of Viking based, and I was actually told when I was up there to hide my Mjolnir because that area that we were driving through, I don't want to go into a lot of detail, but screw it, white supremacists have taken over a lot of this. I won't beat around the bush, and it pisses me off because I love everybody. Anybody that I meet, I'll give you the chance to show me who you are. I'll try to show you who I am. I don't judge people based on anything other than their character. And if you're good to me, I'm going to be good to you. You treat me right, I treat you right. I'm very protective of my family and my friends. But that being said, I'm friendly with everybody. There's not a lot of people I've met in my life where I think, oh, I don't like that person. Regardless of who they were, what they look like, that just doesn't matter to me. So it's very frustrating that I've had people ask me, where did you serve your time in prison because of my tattoos? And I'm like, no, F you. It's got nothing to do with that. I'm from Norway. This is just my history, my heritage, my culture. And it's a frustrating thing. Anyway, I still have not really delved into that in my YouTube videos. I keep saying I'm going to. And one of these days I will. Leif Erikson Day today. I'm really into any kind of Viking shows. The Viking Valhalla I've really enjoyed. Leif Erikson is one of the main characters. I know a lot of people say it's not very realistic. It's not based on history. Some of it is. Some of it's not. They've taken some poetic license there, but I will get into that one of these days and talk a little more about that. But the town we moved to when we moved from Norway, by the way, for alle dere som snakker norsk, velkommen tilbake. Det er godt å ha dere her. For everybody that speaks Norwegian, welcome back. It's good to have you back. Please give me a thumbs up, a subscription, comments. If I'm doing something you don't like, tell me that too. I'm open to criticism. I got thick skin. It's all good. I can take the good and the bad. I do this, I've said this many times, mostly for myself as kind of a hobby, a video diary. I enjoy doing it. I love seeing reactions and comments and trying to grow this thing. But that being said, so we moved to this little tiny town, and it's in the middle of nowhere. I mean, my dad uprooted our whole family, everybody we know. We moved from Norway across the ocean to the prairies. We went from the mountains and the ocean and this gorgeous. If you've never been to Norway and you ever get a chance to go. It's incredible. It's gorgeous. Almost all my family still lives there. My parents live up in Canada. I've got 3 brothers and a sister that lives up in Canada, and I have a brother in Utah where I live. And then I have a brother that passed many, many decades ago. He was just a baby. So we're a pretty big family. My mom's family was 11 siblings, and my dad was 5. So I've got countless cousins, aunts, uncles in Norway. But this little town, if you've ever seen the movie Stand By Me with River Phoenix, Will Wheaton, Corey Feldman, and I always brain fart on the other guy's name. He's still a pretty big actor. Anyway, doesn't matter. That movie, even though it was set, I think, in the 50s, and I grew up in the late 60s to early 80s, is when my prime time was in Tabor. That movie could have been us. We were free. So I guess this video was a little bit about society and what society is now, what it was then. And it's not a judgment. I'm not, for those of you that are younger that are watching this, I'm 60. So, I have a specific time frame of when I grew up. And I'm not judging. I'm just saying it's different. Maybe I'm judging a little bit. I liked it better. I tell people all the time, even though I know I'm on the internet right now, overall, the internet, social media, has had a lot of negative effects. It's had a lot of good effects too. But, back then, we went out, we rode our bikes. Summer, our parents had no clue where we were. We'd get up in the morning, summer holiday, we'd be gone riding our bikes, camping. As young as, 9, 10 years old, my buddies and I, we lived on the edge of town, and we would hike down to, we called it the river bottom. There was a river that ran through these hills and valleys just outside of town, this flat prairie, but here's this really pretty river down. You wouldn't even know it was there if you didn't live there and didn't know to go look at it. But we would hike down there and we would camp. 10, 11, 12 years old, just us. We'd take our sleeping bag, a tent. Parents would say, okay, be safe. Here's kind of a fun little story about that. And I know that doesn't even happen anymore. People are, let's say this, the risk in society now, I don't think is any greater for a 10-year-old going camping with his friends than it was then. The difference is now we hear about everything. Something happens across the world in Germany or Australia or Japan or China or whatever. We hear about it. Some kid gets kidnapped, something awful, and we hear about it. Back then, you only heard about the stuff that happened around you. So it just didn't seem to be as ubiquitous as it seems to be now. Anyway, my story, my buddies and I, we were probably 12 at this time, and there were 4 of us, and we told our parents, hey, we're going camping. It was probably a Friday night, or maybe it was the summer holiday. I don't remember that, and we hiked down to the river bottom. It was, a couple miles out of town. So it took us maybe 45 minutes to walk out there, and found a camp spot in the trees right alongside the river. And, kids being what they are, we'd scare each other with stories. Sometimes we'd sneak out of the tent trying to scare somebody. Anyway, it kind of came back to bite us in the ass a little bit, because it turned out that one of my buddies had not told his parents that he was going camping. 12-year-old just disappears. Even back then, that was a big deal. And so the parents all got together and said, well, they said they were going camping. Let's go find them. And they came, and bear in mind, we'd been telling each other scary stories about werewolves and vampires and all the kind of crap kids believe, to an extent anyway. When you're camping in the forest and it's pitch black and there's just a little campfire, you believe all kinds of crap. Well, the parents came down to the river bottom in some cars, and we heard the cars coming, but then we heard yelling, just lots of yelling. And they weren't real close to us. They must have been, half mile away, a quarter mile away, whatever it was, but it freaked us out. We thought it was bad guys. I don't know what we were thinking. We had all kinds of crap in our head at this point. So we put out the fire, climbed in the tent, and we're dead silent. And the parents are looking for us. At this point, we couldn't tell it was our parents. It was just distant voices all screaming and yelling. And we're like, this is bad. This sounds like bad people that could really do something to us. So we hid in that tent for a long time. I don't remember if it was 15 minutes or an hour. But when we finally recognized the voice, we came out and, of course, yelled and got scolded, gotten some serious crap, especially the friend that hadn't told. I don't remember which friend it was, but hadn't told his parents that he was going camping. So I'm sure we got grounded and got in a lot of trouble. But yeah, I hadn't even thought of that story for many years. So anyway, if you're digging this, let me know. I am going to get into some Viking stuff. Somebody asked me to talk more about my work, and actually a couple people did, about my painting. I'm going to do another one of those time-lapse videos, a longer one, kind of show you what I do. I specialize in painting self-storage facilities, all over the country. I mean, I've been to East Coast, West Coast, South, North, you name it. There's only a few states I haven't painted in. I'd say I'm around 35 to 40 states I've painted in. I've painted 180,000 plus garage doors, roll-up doors, if you're familiar with self-storage facilities. And I've painted, it's got to be millions of square feet. So I'll do a short video on that and kind of do the time-lapse thing. So those of you that are interested, cool. Anyway, little story. I've got hundreds of stories. I got some that are maybe a little edgy. I'll put a warning at the beginning somewhere up here. If I don't want to offend anybody, but maybe some swear words will be in it or something to tell the story properly. And I'll have to think about what stories I can tell and which are better left in the past. But anyway, hopefully you're digging the videos. If you got this far, then it must be somewhat interesting. If you checked out, then you're not hearing this anyway. So, that's all good. Hope you all have a fantastic week, and I will talk to you all soon. Peace, love, Mrs. Nesta Gung. We'll see you next time.